This is the Pmbc meeting for February 23rd, 2022. I'm going to share, hopefully, my screen with the agenda. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. See if I can. So the first order of business is to look at the warrant. I'm going to try to share my screen again and bring that up. Let's see. Okay.
There we
So
go.
here's the warrant. There we go. Can you guys see that all right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so the first two items are Vertex Corporation for construction services. The first one is for the police station in the amount of $3,086. Second one is for the library in the amount of $5,896. And then the next three are some waterproofing company invoices that kind of got lost, I guess, from October, November, December for the police station in the amount of $24,497.50. For October, $40,527.38 for November, and $4,366.68 for December. Now, I want to say something about the waterproofing company. We don't have the final closeout documents. Hopefully, Brian Orrs will be here to talk about that. But we have plenty of money left on the waterproofing company and the, oh, there's Brian, for the as-builts and other documents that we need. So the total for the warrant is $83,373.56. We'll do a roll call vote. Is there a motion to approve?
Make a motion, we approve, Bob Romley.
Is there a second?
I'll second it. Bartlett Harvey.
Okay, roll call vote. Bob?
Bob Romley, yes.
Bartlett?
Bartlett Harvey, yes.
Brian?
Brian Pasquale, yes.
Rich?
Rich is a yes too.
And Steve is a yes as well, so that motion passes. Thank you. Let's see if I can find the agenda again. Can you guys see this?
No.
Not yet.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to read off of it since the next one is the library update, solar panels.
Now, what about the minutes? What about the minutes, Steve?
Oh, I'm sorry. Approve the minutes from February 9th, 2022. As amended, any comments on that? Do we have a motion to approve?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes of February 9th, 2022.
Okay, Bob Romley makes the motion.
I'll second that.
Who seconded it?
Rich.
Oh, Rich. Okay. Roll call vote. Bob?
Bob Romley, yes.
Bartlett?
Yes. Bartlett Harvey, yes.
Brian?
Brian Pasquale, yes.
Rich?
Rich Crowley is a yes.
And Steve is a yes as well. So the motion passes. Thanks very much. Moving on to the library, we have the update for the solar panels, preventive maintenance plan. That may be a moot point. Final cost update and closeout documents. Brian?
Thank you for unmuting me. Yeah, I think we've had some progress over at the library. My goal would be to get these projects off your agenda within the next couple of weeks on these projects. But from a library perspective, I think we're 99% done on the punch list on the interior of the building. We've identified a date that we're going to do an exterior punch list walk. And all other items are going to become warranty service items at this point. Working with Commodore to reconcile our final change order. They wanted to make sure all that work was completed before we finish up our final closeout, and identify the amount of money that will probably be coming back to the town on the GMP. The preventive maintenance plan, that has been greenlit and that is ongoing right now. I've been told that it's probably a week away from being handed over to the town. I'll make sure a copy gets sent to Pmbc. A copy will be held at the library, and then I'll work with the building department to get that uploaded onto the viewpoint for the town. For the solar panels, bids were due today, but we actually extended the bid date to Friday. And that's actually good news because we received some RFIs on the bid documents, which leads me to have some optimism that we're going to receive a bid this time around. So those were responded to by the engineer of record, and the responses to the bids are due on Friday. And fingers crossed that we get bids that are within our budget and what we anticipated from the original contract. We're ongoing in talks with Sam about any other items that have come up. Working with Mark. I haven't talked with Mark this week. I know he's on the call here, but we have a few other miscellaneous things that are outside the contractor's contract, but we probably are going to proceed with based upon how we look financially on the budget. So those can work in parallel as we close out Commodore. I'm receiving final lien releases from all the subcontractors to make sure everyone's been paid. Not only underneath Commodore's contract, but also owner's contract. I want to get that done from the AV subcontractor, the furniture contractors, and who else did we pay up there? Some of the low voltage subcontractors as well that we'll need the lien releases on. And then I'll proceed to do the DCAM evaluations for the general contractor and the filed sub bids on that. So at our next meeting, my hope is that the preventative maintenance plan will be in everybody's hands. The solar panels, we will already have had that discussion on whether that is a go or not. Final costs, we should be almost done with the requisition in hand, figure out how much we have left on the project, and closeout should be about 95% complete.
Great. Thanks, Brian. Any questions?
Do we get a final release from the contractor too?
I've requested them. I haven't received the general contractors yet. No.
Good to hear all that. Very good.
So Brian, I know that the Commodore had some carpenters and other tradespeople out there Friday.
Yep.
Do you know what they took care of?
Yeah, they did a lot of touch-up paint. They did a lot of there was a lot of acoustical ceiling tile touch-ups that need to be done. And then they identified things that maybe were out of the skill level of the carpenter and painter that were there. We were having some lock issues on the bathroom doors. We were having some stickiness with hardware on other doors. We have some shades that are still due. And then we walked around, did some of the exterior work that you identified regarding the downspouts and the loose battens, but that still didn't release them from the other exterior work that's been identified on the punch list that's been either muddy or covered in snow for the time being. So we want to make sure that that's covered under a punch list rather than warranty.
Okay. I see, Bob, you tried to call me. Was that a pocket dial? Bob Romley? Uh-oh, maybe we lost him.
No, I think what's happening, Stephen, not to jump in, is I was having trouble unmuting myself, and I think that the host needs to allow them to unmute themselves. And I think that's what Bob's shaking his head at. And I think
Been there,
Mark,
done that.
Mark has, yep, thank you. And
Long
Mark
time
has his
ago.
hand raised.
So are we all squared away?
I think
We
Mark
should
has his
be.
hand raised.
I had a couple questions on the library for Brian and some other comments. So we're still waiting on some things for the furniture or the shelving specifically, right? They
Yep.
still have work to complete, so I assume we're not releasing. So I assume we'll release Commodore, but not the interior work
Yeah,
on that.
those can happen in parallel too, as that's not part of the construction contract.
And I don't know what we ever decided on, like, the wildflower mix, what we're doing about whether the seed comes up. Are we holding something back or what are we doing on that?
Yes, we are. So that, in my purview, there's no grass there. So we will hold our money until grass is there and warranty begins after that. And we want to get the landscape architect engaged out there to make sure that he's satisfied with it.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions on library? All right, moving on to the police station. Brian?
Yeah, and I'm sorry to step back real quick. The last thing that I will be doing with the library is working with the MBLC. So we need to do an audit and a reconciliation of the entire project that'll determine what the last grant check gets to the town. So right now we've been paid out for 4 of the 5 grant installments. And the 5th will be coming a year after substantial completion. Once we identify all the eligible and ineligible costs.
Oh, great.
Over the police station, I think we are 99% closed out. I did finally speak with the project manager after our emails today. He said the vice president was out on vacation today, but was going to look into it to get me the documents that we're looking for. So like you alluded to, we were holding a substantial amount of money on them because my fear that they were going to walk away without getting our official closeout documents. We did agree to release a portion of that, which was on the warrant tonight. But we'll be holding the remaining of their contract until we're satisfied with all the documents that are there. Probably having a hard copy with the chief on site and then being uploaded at town hall.
Great,
Brian?
thanks.
The waterproofing company?
Yep.
They threatened to walk away?
No. My fear
no.
was that we were going to be in a situation where, like when we started this project, we had 0 documents from 10 years ago from as-built and other O&M warranties. So I wanted to make sure that we held a sufficient amount of money to make sure that those are provided.
Got it. Okay.
I mean,
Got it.
they did a great job, but
Yep.
maybe their paperwork isn't as good as their field work.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I dropped off a bunch of stuff, 18 boxes worth, yesterday to, custodian at town hall. So there's probably a lot of, police station stuff in some of those boxes too.
Okay.
To George?
Yeah. George has all that stuff.
Okay, good. All right, senior center update. I don't think Joe Layden is with us, but I think Marilyn's kind of given us a bit of an update, or maybe it was Kirby,
I think it was between us.
that's kind of on hold. So more to come.
Yeah, what-
Apparently it's on hold till fall town meeting, till the special town meeting.
Okay,
And because the price had gotten up, last I heard it was up to about $18 million. Brian might know too, Brian Force, he might know because he's been part of that committee that's been working on it.
oh, that's true.
How many square feet was it?
Thank you. I can speak to that. So the estimate that they got, they were roughly, the square footage that we got after programming was about 16,500 or 16,555 square feet is what the programming spit out. The estimate that we got was extremely high. So what I've been doing is keeping in contact with the architect and the third-party estimator and really going through each and every line item and identifying what has skyrocketed within the past, we'll say 6 months, and what items can be taken out and what other type of materials can be used. So I think you're right, Marilyn, in that things have kind of
Yep.
shelved for a little bit, but there still is some, some small work that's being done behind the scenes while we get formal direction.
And,
Yep.
and Brian, if I recall, the construction cost per square foot was in the $800 range.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what came out of that estimate, which
Yeah.
was eyebrow raising.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's,
That kind of put the brakes on things.
for that kind of money, you could buy that old, you could buy the old bank building and renovate the whole.
Well, Rich,
Town-
what about Indian Hill? We never heard why they felt that was not a good spot. That's going to be vacant by September. I mean, I don't think it would cost 18 mil to renovate that. It
No.
even has 2 kitchens, and down in the basement has a pizza oven in there. I mean, I don't know nobody ever heard what the problem was. there.
Anyway, that's not a PMBC issue.
No,
But thanks for the update, Brian.
Thank you.
Any other questions before we go to member input?
The roof, Steve, high school roof.
Oh, thank you. I should have put that. Oh, it is on here. Brian Pasquale, do you want to talk about the high school roof?
Sure. Not a huge update to be had this week, but we ended up having to go through the RFQ process through the Central Register. So that's been published. We put it in for the Central Register a week and a half or so ago. Joe Layden confirmed that it has been posted as of today. I don't recall the due date for qualifications and proposals. I think it was March 9th, perhaps, but that's what we're soliciting is designer qualifications. So,
And I think Joe put the ad in the Lowell Sun. Is that right?
yeah, I'm not sure where. I think that was the plan.
Yeah, I think that's usually where they put it.
Yep.
So anyway, the RFQ responses are due in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
And
Yep.
And more to come, right?
Yeah. The other thing, I don't know if Steve, you want to address, who would be on the selection committee, I guess, for the.
Good point. We had talked about getting a selection committee together with Brian and Steve Mark as maybe co-chair, and then we need 3 other people, probably 1 other from PMBC and 1 from the town, maybe 1 from school department, or however that gets divvied up. But we certainly need to get a selection committee together. So if anyone, Bartlett, is interested in being on the selection committee, that'd be great.
Well, Steve, I'll volunteer for that, but I don't want to, I've been on so many of these selection committees. I'd rather have somebody else volunteer, but if no one volunteers, I'll fill in that spot.
Okay.
I'm on the Transfer Development Rights Committee, subcommittee, working group, whatever it is, and that's actually kind of overwhelming right now. So I would prefer, I would like to be involved in the selection process, but right now I think is a really bad time for me.
Okay, Rich, I guess you're selected.
That's
From
good.
Florida.
That's okay.
You volunteered.
I put
So then,
both feet are in.
It should be pretty minimal. These won't be. It shouldn't be an extensive process. It's a fairly small amount of design work.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Brian and I were on the selection committee for the police station, and that went really well.
Yep.
I think you were on that too, weren't you, Rich?
I may have been.
Yeah. And I think the 3 of us and the chief and there was another person, and it went really well. And so these the people that are on the selection committee, as long as they understand the process, I think it goes well. So Brian, maybe you and I can catch up with Steve Mark and get somebody from his, camp, and then maybe Joe Layden. Maybe Joe becomes one of the, people. I don't know.
That's a good idea.
That's
Joe,
fine too.
Joe would work. It can,
Anyway.
can, Brian, could you send me some dates? I haven't seen the RFPs. That's probably got the dates on. Could you forward something like
Yep,
that?
I will, I'll forward that over to you, Rich.
Yeah, so I'll know when things are gonna be due and when we're gonna meet.
Sure.
Great.
Terrific. Okay. Member input, Bob,
I'm all set.
Bartlett,
I'm all set, thanks.
Brian,
Also, thank you, Steve.
Rich.
Well, mud season's over. At least I thought it was until they predicted.
Yeah. And
Oh
just
my-
wait until, Friday when it's, all snow.
Didn't that groundhog stay out this year?
No,
Really?
he went back.
He said 6 more weeks of winter, so he's teasing us back and forth.
Damn.
Yeah. So is that your member input, Rich?
I remember input. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
From farming town here, Littleton.
I got nothing. Thanks for your, oh, the next meeting is, TTT, when is it?
March 9th.
March 9th. Thanks, Bob.
Okay.
And, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Bartlett moves,
I'll
Second.
second it. Bob Romley.
okay, roll call vote, Bob,
Bob Romley, yes.
Bartlett,
Yes, Bartley, yes.
Brian,
Brian Pasquale, yes.
and Rich.
Rich is a yes too.
Well,
Yes,
thanks.
as well.
And Steve is a yes. And thanks for your participation. Really appreciate it.